This is the Johnny Cleveland Podcast, all things Cleveland sports, with your host, John Suchan. Well, good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Johnny Cleveland Podcast. Well, it's been a day. It has been an interesting day here. If you are a Cleveland Browns fan, your favorite, maybe not your favorite these days, defensive end Myles Garrett signed a massive contract extension. The same guy that was demanding a trade not so long ago and last several weeks has been prancing around all of America media outlets saying, I want out of Cleveland. I want to be traded, even though he had, 2 or 3 years left on this contract. Some folks today are acting shocked that this has gotten done. I'm not sure what planet you've been on and have not been listening to us here on the Fanatical Elves Network and several of our colleagues who have been telling you for weeks that Myles Garrett would not be traded, even though it's been out there. He was not traded. He agreed earlier today or at some point to this contract extension. It guarantees him, well, it's $40 million a year. I think there's $120 or $130 million guaranteed. It makes him the highest paid NFL player outside of a quarterback. So there you go, Myles. It is a win-win for an organization, which, again, some people are putting down the organization and whatnot. I don't quite get that outside of the fact that you just loathe the owners of the Haslams. And there are a lot of you out there that loathe the Haslams and the Berries and the Stefanskis. And believe me, I've been on that side and I've not been a proponent of Berry or Stefanski at times, or even Haslams, but Haslams are willing to put forth the money. There's a new stadium down the pike too. This deal has Myles here through 2030, and he has a no trade clause in the contract. So funny. Money talks. Follow the dollar. Show me the money. Yes, as they say in Jerry Maguire, show me the money. And though Myles said he was chasing championships and it wasn't about the money, that's BS. We all knew it. Maybe I didn't know it as confidently as some of my other colleagues here on the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. We appreciate your loyalty and coming to watching our shows. I know Steve Gill, our colleague at does the Dog Pound South podcast, had his show on earlier. We will have several shows coming up this week discussing this Myles Garrett new contract extension. Tomorrow night, I will be joining Lou Marconi with our Stirring the Pot show. So tune into that tomorrow night at 9:15. Lou and I will have a lot to say about what's going on in the world of the NFL, especially our Cleveland Brownies. And there's been a lot today already, and it hasn't even, the free agency sort of starts tomorrow. DK Metcalf, the wide receiver of the Seattle Seahawks, has been traded to the Pittsburgh Squealers. Boo. For a second-round pick in this year's draft. So DK Metcalf is now a Squealer. Now I have to really hate him. I kind of liked him. I was kind of hoping, maybe not that the Browns are probably going to get him, but anybody but the Squealers or the Ratbirds, or even for that, the Bungles. But the Bungles already have their, wide receivers and everything. So we'll see. Other big news in the NFL today, Josh Allen. Yes, that Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, signs a ginormous contract extension. Yes, worth $250 million guaranteed. Yes, that's $20 million more than Deshaun Watson, so we can lay that to bed. Deshaun is not the most guaranteed. It's not the most outrageous contract. And here's why it is so outrageous. And I know there are a lot of, Buffalo Bills have had a lot more success with Josh Allen, but they still haven't won a Super Bowl after all these years with Josh Allen, and he's not getting any younger. So you just guaranteed a guy who's aging and getting older and he can't win the big game. Let's just throw our money away. And that's what the NFL, the NFL is just ginormously about money. And that's what we're seeing today. Let's pause here for a commercial break. This is the Johnny Cleveland podcast. And thank you for coming back to the Johnny Cleveland podcast, part of Fans First Sports Network and the Fanatical Elves Network. So, Cavs tonight are playing. Let me look at my latest. They were up. They were winning going into the fourth quarter. It is about 10:30 on a Sunday night. By the way, how are we all doing with the daylight savings time and the fast forward, spring forward? Lost the hour of sleep. It is 10:30 when I'm recording this, and obviously we feel like it's 9:30. So we'll have fun trying to go to sleep tonight, won't we, folks? All right. Cavs are up. They win the game. It just must have ended 112-100. Man, the Cavs are, what are they, 54 wins, 55 wins, and 10 losses? Just tremendous. Just tremendous stuff. We've talked about the Cavs all season long, and Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs have just done a remarkable job. Kenny Atkinson has made a huge difference. And players make the teams, but coaches put their philosophy and their stamp on these teams. And it's why I said since the beginning of time that JB Bickerstaff was not the right guy for this Cavalier team. And we know that now because you can see the huge difference and see what the Cavaliers are doing. Remarkable run. There will be a lot of more pressure building as we get closer to the postseason, but enjoy the ride, folks. This is not going to happen that often. We had times when LeBron was in town and played all those years that we were just kind of expected to win big. And this is so great because it's a team that has been built from the ground up pretty much and worked together. And they're just a fun group to watch. They play the game of basketball the right way. And if they can lock in on defense as we get into that post season, it's going to be a lot more fun to watch them. So good job to the Cavaliers again. Another win tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. The short episode today, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I did want to touch base with everybody. By the way, do you like I did the whole shave thing today. I had a big beard going on and shaved it back. So looking a little spiffy there, I guess. So MAC tournament, college hoops coming up. If you've been maybe paying attention to the different tournaments, I think the women Big Ten had their finals today, UCLA and USC. Isn't that funny? Think about it, UCLA and USC in the Big Ten Women's Basketball Championship. Both teams from California. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? The MAC tournament will be coming up here in Cleveland. I will be covering the women's side of the tournament. Looking forward to that very much. Many of you know that I have a history going back with my daughter, Mariah, who played basketball for the Buffalo Bulls back between 2014 and 2018. They had some great teams back then, and they've continued that success. They've changed coaches. Coach Jack, who used to be the coach in Buffalo, is now up in Syracuse. But they've brought in a new coach a few years ago, Becky Burke, who used to play at Louisville, was the star point guard. I don't know if anybody follows college hoops. She was a very good point guard for the Louisville squad, and Tim Walz, who's still the coach there at Louisville. They took Connecticut to the finals, lost in the finals in 2009. Anywho, I got to interview Coach Burke, who's the coach of Buffalo, and I'm interviewing some of the other coaches as well. Get to interview the coach of Ball State tomorrow. And earlier today, I got to interview Coach Bogus of Toledo, who's in her first year as the Toledo Rockets head coach, and just learning a lot from these folks in talking to them over the phone, and putting together some articles for Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders. Enjoy writing for them. So please check those out when you get an opportunity. But we put up a preview of the Buffalo team. So if you're a follower of college football or college basketball, please check out those articles. You can follow me on my X page at John Suchan, and you can read the late article about the gritty Buffalo Bulls team. Got some insight from Miss Becky Burke, the head coach now in her third year. She's got them playing very well. Toledo is the number 2 seed under this new coach Bogus, and she's doing a tremendous job there. They had a longtime coach named Tricia Cullop, who ended up going down to the Miami Hurricanes, where she's coached there. But they've continued their success. They're the number 2 seed, like I said, and Ball State is the number 1 seed going into this tournament. Kent State actually won the tournament last year. They're the number 4 seed. It's really up in the air at this point. All 4 teams have, battled it out. Buffalo has lost to all those teams at least once. Ball State and Toledo seem to be, in kind of the driver's seat. But a year ago in this tournament, Kent State and Buffalo both beat Ball State and Toledo, who were the number 1 and number 2 seeds at the time. So it's really a fun tournament. If you like basketball, get down there to the Rocket Mortgage Arena, or they call it just the Rocket Arena now. Get down there. Quarterfinal games are on Wednesday. Semifinal games are on Friday for both the men and the women. And Saturday are the championship games. The Saturday morning at 11, I believe the game's going to be on CBS. The women play, and then the men's game is later that afternoon. I think it's on ESPN. So tune in for those games. I will actually be there covering the game on Saturday. I've working with Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders, and really excited about that, getting to watch that championship game and talk to the coaches and players after that contest. So we'll see who's there. But follow me on the X page, John Suchan, and you can read those articles. Really would appreciate that. And also follow Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders. So that's all I got here tonight for you here on the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. This is the Johnny Cleveland podcast. I hope you have a very good rest of your day, wherever you're listening to this podcast to or from, on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasting. We are there. Just type in Fanatical Elves Network or Cleveland Browns and you'll find us. Also, thanks to Hemisphere Coffee Roasters who support us. And that's all I got. Have a great evening. Go Browns and keep smiling. Take care. This is the